Hello, I just finished watching the 2025 erotic thriller titled Fall for Me. It's a German movie on Netflix, and full transparency, I actually watched it with the intention of not taking it seriously. Like, I saw the trailer and it looked like 365 days, very steamy, very sexy. So I was like, oh, what is this crap? Let's check it out. Turned out to actually be quite surprising. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't the plotless, just sex-driven movie that I thought it was going to be. It actually had a story to tell. It actually had a plot that wasn't bad, to be very honest. The movie's plot summary reads: Lily visits her sister Valeria, surprised to learn she's engaged to a Frenchman, Manu. She spontaneously meets nightclub manager Tom, sparking an instant connection. A dark secret lurks behind the island's events. If you do not know who I am, my name is VDK, and I make movie bingo cards. You can find the bingo card for this movie and all my movie bingo cards on my Substack, vdkfilmclub.substack.com. So now let's get into this movie. This video is going to be split up into the non-spoiler section and then the spoiler section. So we'll get talking about the non-spoilers first. Let's get into it. First, we're going to start with the acting and the characterization. This movie ended up having more fleshed out characters than I thought that they would. Honestly, I thought that this movie was going to be full of women whose decisions I would just keep going, what are you doing? Like, huh? Huh? But ultimately, and I did have that thought for a lot of the movie, especially around one character. But ultimately, it redeems itself. The women here take charge of their lives and they really don't fall fully at the end into tropes of they do kind of, but ultimately they redeem themselves. Let's just say that. I'm trying not to give any spoilers here. Um, what I will say though is don't enter into this movie expecting never before seen storyline, like completely fresh. We've never seen it before. We have. This storyline is nothing that we have not seen before. The characters are not hyper unique in the sense of like you wouldn't see the characters and go, oh, I've never seen this person on screen before. You will see them and go, I know this archetype. I know this type of character. This character reminds me of this. The characters in this movie are very archetypal. That being the case, the actors do play this archetypal character as well. Like, I don't think there's any actor that really dropped the ball. I think they all were able to bring the characters that they were given to life in a very nice, believable, real way. I didn't think anybody's acting was so bad. Nobody stood out to me as a bad actor. So the actors delivered on the job of the characters that they were given. The characters are archetypal characters, but they service the story that they are telling. Next, I want to talk about the directing and the cinematography. This movie is very bright. It's very hot. It's very steamy. There's like the nighttime scenes are also sexy. There's like the erotic, because this is an erotic thriller. The erotic scenes are erotic. The bright scenes are bright. The scenes that are supposed to have more action do have momentum and they do have action. The movie is well directed and it looks good. It looks crisp. It looks good. It looks sexy. You got to give the props to the cinematographers and the directors, the lighting people, the props department, the set. Everybody delivered. The movie looks visual. It looks good visually. Next up, we talk about the pacing. This movie is an hour and 43 minutes. And honestly, it could have been an hour and 20 something minutes because some scenes kind of drag on a little bit more than they should. Sometimes characters, like the editors, too, could have tightened some things up. Things could have just been a little bit sharper, especially at certain points in this movie, because it does run long, and I don't think the 1 hour 43 runtime is earned. This could have been a nice, simple 1 hour 20-minute movie. Like, truly, it could have been easily 1 hour 20 minutes, 1 hour 30. 1 hour 43 is kind of dragging it. Who is this movie for? I would say that this movie is for a person who is just scrolling on Netflix and they want to just watch something super cash. If you're in a couple, this would be a hot film to watch with your partner. Um, because it does get steamy. Then I would also say watch it without any big expectations. You know, it's not going to be like the movie that's going to change your life. It's not going to be the movie that is going to really have you like, I have watched the movie of the year, guys. Let's every other movie end it now. No, no, no. It's a simple it's a simple film. It's a good time. Just go into it knowing that. Honestly, though, if I'm being very, very honest, and I'm hoping that you're watching this, you're over the age of 18. But if you're not, actually, I don't know why you're watching this movie. This movie is very adult. But this is also the kind of movie that I wouldn't lie, you can put on in the background during the good time. Let me just say that. Like, it's the kind of thing where you can just play it to set the mood. It's also that kind of film. If that's what you're looking for on Netflix, you just play in the background. If you have somebody over trying to set the mood, you can play this movie as well. That's what I think this movie is for. Would I recommend this movie? Yeah, yeah, I would say, yeah, it's not a bad film. It's actually not a bad film. I really truly entered it thinking it was going to be an eye roll. Oh, here we go again. They are softcore people. The softcore Netflix film with no substance, no plot has come. It's actually not that. It's actually quite good. So I will recommend this movie. But I'm also saying that with the caveat of, but just also know that I'm not recommending it to you as like movie of the year, movie to change your life. But it's not a bad film. Now that that's out of the way, that was the non-spoiler section of this video. Let's get into spoilers. I'm going to be using my bingo card to kind of guide the conversation. So we'll talk about it using the bingo cards as a guide. The first bingo slot I want to talk about is finger brushes against lips. And I want to start by talking about the bar scene. First of all, it's so funny to me how the character of Lily Funke, who, by the way, I'm a Nigerian person. I always thought that the name Funke was a Nigerian name. I thought it was a Yoruba name. When she said her name is Funke, I know it's not pronounced, it's pronounced kind of differently than how I'm pronouncing it. But Funke is such a Nigerian name to me that when she said her name was Funke, I was like, whoa, thought that was only a Yoruba name. I didn't know that there's actually Germans also named Funke. That was very interesting to know, and I learned that from this movie. Now, watching her in the bar scene, it was just very funny. In movies where like they have the people dancing, right? She's trying to dance. That girl is doing a whole eight count. Like she's really hand on the knee, toss the hair up, give the whole thing. Like she's doing a whole Britney Spears choreography. And I was like, whoa, this is on the dance floor. So interesting. Like I thought that was so funny because I've been to many clubs. I don't think I've seen somebody really doing like a whole eight count VMS choreography. But in movies, that tends to also be the case. The other thing I wanted to talk about was when the character of Tom, so she then meets Tom in the bar, he's bartending, and they meet. And I just want to talk about something. Please, if a person comes up behind you with a cold bottle of alcohol and then presses it against your skin, don't you go, excuse me? Do you go, oh, because in this movie, I'm like, what are you doing? A strange man in a foreign city comes up to you, puts a cold bottle of alcohol on your chest, and you're there like, oh, and then next thing, he's kind of like daring you to drink this drink. A strange man in the foreign city is daring you to drink a drink, trying to coerce you to get to drink his drink. And you then drink it as a dare, and then excuse yourself. You take yourself one aside to the rooftop, to a secluded part of the bar where you're alone with this man, where you then go to a rooftop, you know he's behind you, and you just stand there, and then you open your legs, you spread yourself for him to come and cup your breast and start to fondle you. This is it. I was like, Funke, personal safety. Do you watch the news? This could have gone horribly. Please, if you're a woman watching or you're anybody really watching, this is not the way. This can get very dangerous very fast. But I also want to talk about seductions because a very big part of this movie is about seductions. And again, when I was going into this movie, I was thinking it was going to just be, again, softcore without substance. But watching it, I thought to myself that this does happen. There's a character that says the line, you think it will never happen to me, about Valeria, who we'll talk about down the line. But when you're again in this kind of like whirlwind romance, because again, this is very unusual. While I'm saying that this is scary and very dangerous to do that as a woman, or anybody really, you can also understand that if somebody did something like this and it succeeded and the person was not a creep and they actually got like a good time on a rooftop and they got like a good sexual time, you can understand how that could be alluring to somebody and how they would want more of that. So the seduction does work in this movie because he's really like seducing her. Like, he's cut off the water. She comes to his place. He's the neighbor that's there conveniently without a shirt. He's like, you can come and shower over here. He's always without a shirt, just dripping wet. He's really like turning on the seduction. He's saying all the right things. He's being handy. Like, he really does seduce her well. And even talking about Valeria for a second, and all the women who get scammed in this movie, because this is the spoiler section, all the women who get scammed through the seduction thing, it's kind of easy to laugh it off. Like even with the Tinder swindler, everybody's giving their one and two takes of, oh, it could never be me, it could never be me. But people really do fall for this. And I think this movie, just like the Tinder swindler, is another caution to women that sometimes you really, not sometimes, you always have to have your eyes open. Always be looking out. There's a moment that the character of Tom says to Funke, isn't it more interesting not to know, when she's asking about him? And then she says, it's more dangerous. That was very spot on, and women, listen to your intuitions because that should have told her all she needed to do. You know me, I'm a student of the gift of fear. If you've not read that book, I always recommend that book. I'm a student of the gift of fear. I'm a student of listening to your intuition. So when she said it's more dangerous, I said listen to that gut feeling. Like people watching, listen to that gut feeling. When something is feeling odd, it's feeling off, it's feeling like you're asking questions like, isn't this kind of dangerous? Who is this person? Listen to that. So that's also one thing I can say I took from this movie, or I would just like highlight through this movie, is listen to your intuition, listen to your gut feeling. If something is a bit too good to be true, question it. Like really ask why. Don't sabotage it, but ask why, and like make sure you just keep your eyes open. The next English class I want to talk about is A Table is Cleared in Passion, and I want to talk about the erotic aspect of this erotic thriller. This movie really found very creative ways to do the erotics. When people do this clearing of a table in passion, what is that? Please, you watching, have you ever cleared a table in passion? I can imagine doing that if it's maybe just like one or two things on the table, like a pen, a piece of paper. But in this movie, it was fresh fruit. It was like his breakfast. It's food items, and he just throws them off the table. I'm like, food is expensive. Grocery shopping is expensive. You're just going to toss all this food aside, like. And then when they were on the beach, and you're just having sex. I know people do have sex on the beach, but I always just think all that sand, because he's sitting butt ass naked on this beach. She's also naked on this beach. Like that sand is getting in all the crevices. Is this, if you have participated in this, is it enjoyable? Because I've been already and I've asked people. I always like hearing people's different perspectives on things. People have said that it's actually better in principle than it is in practice. Like it's very uncomfortable. So when I was seeing it, I was like, this does look hot and steamy, but I'm also really thinking of the practicalities of it. Also, when they are under the water and they're kissing, I'm like, we are really now holding our breaths underwater to kiss. Like very creative ways that the sex and the eroticism was done. But I thought, wow, this is also some very impractical ways in my mind, because I'm like, wow, this is a lot of like, I'm now an Olympic diver that I'm just to make out under the water. Like, what are we doing? Also, there's the moment when Funke comes to his house, and then she realizes that he's a scammer, right? And she's like, is this how you like to do it? And she's trying to be all like that. I said, not you about to start to hit smash this man. And truly she did. After hit smashing, she's now walking alone to her house and crying on the street. I said, not you crying after smashing. Like, but I just thought that was so funny. Like the number of ways that they were trying to be erotic. Also, I just saw my notes where he squeezes the fruit on her chest. I just like, wow, but just every creative way. How can we keep it hot? How can we keep it spicy? And it was hot, it was spicy, but I just thought, wow, these are very interesting ways of trying to keep it spicy and keep it fresh, but in like exciting visual ways. Very interesting. So the erotic part of the erotic thriller, I would say it's eroticized. I would say that the erotic. The next bingo slot I want to talk about is car drives along a dusty road. And I want to talk about Valeria and just kind of the plot in general, especially about Valeria, and just how stubborn she was. Like I felt like going into the TV screen and just shaking this girl and saying, "Wake up!" Oh my gosh. Also, another thing I want to say is you need to hear what people's exes are saying. Believe people's exes, not all the time, of course, but give them the time of the day. It's not every single ex that is just out to ruin the next relationship. Sometimes people are trying to give you messages that you do need to listen to. And you see that in the character of Bia, who has all this information. And the way Valeria was like wearing rose colored glasses, just not seeing what anybody was saying to her. I said, Valeria, I feel like shaking you awake. This man is scamming you. Please wake up. But that is what happens. Like she was really so deeply seduced, and Manu really did a number on her. And sometimes, unfortunately, it happens. Even in your own personal life, you know that there's maybe family members or friends who that they've been with that person that you're just like, why are you with this person? Please wake up. So while I was watching it and I was frustrated, I couldn't say that this is so out of the realm of possibility, because I even know personal people in my life that it's like I feel like shaking them as well. And you're also left like how Funke is in this movie, trying to find a way to wake this person up. And what do you do in a situation like this when your sister or a loved one is in a situation that you know is kind of a mess, but they are not listening to you? What do you? At the end, though, I thought it was funny how Valeria then became the mad woman, the bitter ex, where she goes up to Manu when he's at his next date. I said, isn't that so funny? How the cycle then goes on. When it was first Bia that was the mad woman, and Valeria was the one like, oh, that's just the crazy ex. And now she has become the crazy ex. Listen to what the exes have to say. As far as the scam goes, I thought that it was actually also done quite well. Like I do. I think, first Tom getting the girl's affection and her love organically actually before he's then set out on his mission. Then Manu, when Funke is beginning to start having her doubts about him, they then have the scene where somebody robs her, and then Manu then looks like the hero when he rescues her bag. That was also smart, getting the appraisal person to come in and now say that, oh, the land isn't what you think it is. Like, they did try to the scamming. I like the fact that they didn't just like move past the scamming or for the erotic and the sexual. I like that they actually did show us the scam and how they plan to do it. And I thought that the scam was quite smart. It really was well thought out, and it makes you as a watcher go, oh, maybe I should actually get second opinions. Maybe I should also not just trust the words of the first person that I've just because I'm seeing this person does not mean that I should only just go to his own person, his own appraisal person, and get only their own thoughts on it. Maybe I should also get independent people. Maybe I should also get three people's opinions, because these are the lessons sometimes when I watch movies that I'm not just watching for my entertainment. I'm also trying to watch to see what I can get out of it and learn. And also, what can we, how can we use it to better our own lives? Ultimately, Tom redeems himself. At the end, we also hear his own story and how he's also been roped into this by Nick and Girasol. I hope I'm pronouncing that name well. And, they got him into this, but at the end, he redeems himself and then he turns himself in. And at the end, he's back. Although I honestly thought not she's falling for her scammer, but I guess he's a redeemed scammer. I guess he's a scammer that has redeemed himself. So I guess we can kind of root for their relationship now because he's redeemed himself. I guess ultimately it was actually not a bad watch at all. I thought that the movie was actually quite fun. It was quite nice. It could have been shorter, but overall, I thought it was a nice, simple, good time. And yeah, I think you should actually check out Fall for Me. If you're just thinking it's just another 365 days, another just sex crazed movie with no direction or no plot, you would be wrong. I also entered it thinking it would be that. It is not that. It's actually worth checking out, and it's actually a good effort. So check out Fall for Me. Thank you for spending this time with me and for watching this video. For the bingo card for this movie and all movie bingo cards that I do, you can find them all on my Substack, vdkfilmclub.substack.com. Come and join my film club. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, all the things. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until the next movie, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.